Okay, peeps, welcome back. So, were the spot Bitcoin ETFs a buy the rumor, sell the news event? This is going to be the weekly Bitcoin update. Let's get it. So, the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the actual Bitcoin chart. Okay, so as you guys can see at first glance, we are still pretty massively overextended from the EMAs, not as much as we were. Obviously, you can see it way up here. We were kind of really getting above them. But the first thing I want you guys to notice is that we are kind of sitting in this ascending triangle here on the weekly. So this could either be a bullish or a bearish event. Typically, when price coils like this, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter within a particular range. Generally speaking, that means one of two things. It's either going to break to the upside or break to the downside. And now you guys might be saying, well, that's not really telling us much. What do you mean it's going to break up or break down? That's pretty much what prices do. Well, you have to understand, when it coils like this usually happens in a number of different patterns. It can happen in a falling or a rising wedge, a ascending triangle or a descending triangle, a pennant pattern like this one right here, or a triangle pattern like the Tesla weekly chart that we showed you guys on X. When it gets really tight within that range, it tends to have a violent move either up or down. So we want to keep this in mind when taking a look at the charts. These are technical patterns. These are patterns that traders generally only look at, investors that invest in dividend paying stocks. Nothing against them, okay, but a lot of them do not look at this kind of information. And we're also dividend investors, just so y'all know, but we do trade too. So that's the reason why, that's the benefit of you guys subscribing to our channel, is you get the best of both worlds. So with that being said, haven't really seen much of a movement here, although it still is looking pretty bearish. Obviously, if we get a close above this, then we could be looking bullish again. Keep in mind, the RSI is still causing a bearish divergence here. RSI going down, price moving up. The MACD has not turned bearish yet, but as far as we're concerned, that is still bearish divergence, which means that Bitcoin could potentially pull back. Now, where could it pull back to? Well, it could pull back between the EMAs, between 36,500 to 46,000 or 40,600, 40,700, somewhere in there, or all the way down to the support zone, which has major confluence between all these indicators. We have the 200-week moving average. Typically, we don't use EMAs and SMAs together, but the 200-week moving average is the kind of the macro bull indicator for Bitcoin, as you guys can see over this kind of long-term time frame here. So yeah, you guys can see that it pretty much respected it until we got here, and then we got back above it, and when we did, it was pretty much lift off after that point. But basically, the pullback could come back to anywhere between 31,000 to as high as 37,500, and the 200-week moving average is sitting right below that support box as support, as macro support. So that's pretty much what's going on with the Bitcoin chart. Again, do I think it's overextended? Yes, I do a little bit. So maybe chops around for a little while, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, then kind of starts slowly moving up from there into the halving and past the halving. But something you guys have to understand about the halving event, when the halving event does happen, the price of Bitcoin does not immediately go up, okay? It usually takes somewhere between 3 to 7 months on average. So we're looking probably roughly around the end of the year before Bitcoin actually makes a serious move to the upside, okay? So the Bitcoin halving event happens, but the move doesn't take place right away. So we could actually see a pullback and then some chop around. Or it just kind of sits in the zone that it is, and the EMAs catch up to the price. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that being said, here is the Bitcoin halving clock. We have less than 100 days, as you guys can see here, until the actual halving event. Halving event is scheduled to start at 8:15 in the morning on April 22nd of this year. So we have basically about 3 months and a week or so until that happens. And again, the amount of coins that become available to the market will be cut in half from 6.25 to 3.125. So keep that in mind. Listen, I'll tell y'all right now, we made the mistake of buying into altcoins Bitcoin way too late into the halving event. Okay, the halving event took place in May. We got in May. We thought it would be we thought we had all the time in the world, right? We didn't actually start buying massively until Bitcoin started moving past 13,000. Um, so we had like 4 or 5 months where we just didn't buy anything, and we didn't start really seriously aping in until the price of Bitcoin pushed up to $20,000, which is still early compared to what most people got into. But we're telling you all this right now for your benefit. If you're able to get in right now, you would be getting in ahead of us in the previous cycle and ahead of all these other retail traders. They're gonna try to jump on the gravy train and be like, "Oh yeah, guys to the moon, blah blah blah." As the price is already pushing past all time highs. I mean, look, the best way to make money in this market is to be ahead of the curve before the curve takes place. So you want to be in, not financial advice, but you want to be in before all the retail apes start aping in, talking about Bitcoin to the moon and, altcoins to the moon. And then you got well, I'm not going to say any media names specifically, but you got the media talking about it and the banks talking about it, celebrities talking about it. This is right now before the halving, and probably I would say up until the end of the year is the perfect time to get in before everybody else starts aping in, because a lot of people are going to FOMO into the market. They're not going to get in right now when the prices are cheap. Please understand what I just said. As soon as they see the prices rip, they're going to FOMO in. If you get in now, you can sell into that strength and make bank. Okay, absolute bank. I'm telling y'all right now. This is how trading works. Okay, when you want to be in at the start of the curve. So when the curve takes place, you can sell into that strength and get out and wait for another premium dip buying opportunity, and then just rinse and repeat. You want to play it like the smart money. The smart money buys when everybody else is terrified and wants to sell their bags. And then you dump on the people that want to buy at the top. Okay, that's generally how smart money does it. So with that being said, enough of my ultimatums. So as you guys can see here on the CoinGecko site, we are kind of down a little bit in terms of total crypto market cap. And we're actually going to take a look at this real quick. Let's see if I can pull the chart up here. So as you guys can see, the chart of the crypto market cap generally is just trending up over time. It's pretty much just continuing to go up and to the right, something to keep in mind. But we have had a significant pullback. We've had roughly almost about $100 billion pullback. So that's pretty substantial. I don't know what the exact number of that is. That's probably like around 1% or so, maybe 0.5%, not entirely sure. But in terms of dip buying opportunities for altcoins, you basically just come to this site, you take a look at the 24-hour chart, and you say, okay, here's what's ripped recently, and here's what's dipped recently. In terms of positions that we hold, we look for positions that we hold that are in the green to sell for profit, and positions that we do not hold that are in the red to look to buy the dip, like something like Bitcoin Cash or the Graph or Near Protocol or something like that. The 7 days even better because you get even bigger numbers here. So you say, okay, ETH Classic pumped recently. If you had held ETH Classic before the pump, well, great. It's up 45%. Maybe I should take some profit. And then also the flip on the 7-day chart as well. So just something to keep in mind when taking a look at CoinGecko. Now let's take a look at crypto interest over time. As you guys can see, we're still sitting relatively low, although it is trending up. Again, we are nowhere near these highs up here between 70 to 100. I would say once we get past this peak here at 30, I would say the bull run is pretty much on at that point. And that'll be in confluence with multiple other indicators. We'll keep you up to date on that. But you guys can see that Bitcoin is at a 26 right now. Looks like it's projected to be at a 47. The reason for that is the spot Bitcoin ETFs getting approved. Now, whether retail starts aping in the coming weeks before the halving by the billions and hundreds of billions and trillions and stuff like that, because of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, that remains to be seen. We'll just have to wait and see. Us personally, we're just DCAing in regardless of what it does. But in terms of the overall chart, I would still say it's a great opportunity to buy Bitcoin or altcoins, not financial advice. But based on looking at this chart, I would say retail has not really seriously FOMO'd in yet. So here is the fear and greed index. So we pulled back a little bit from the previous area that we were in the 70s. Makes sense. People probably taking profit. The Bitcoin spot ETFs, my opinion personally, I don't think it was a buy the rumor, sell the news. I think people are just taking profits. Um, but even if it was a buy the rumor, sell the news, you guys got to understand we've been taking profits very liberally on literally everything except LTCN for the last several months. You guys have seen it firsthand. I don't know exactly how much we made. I think we made like 7 or 8,000 or something like that. It's it's a decent amount of money. So, but we basically said that we were going to do that in case crypto pulled back, and that's exactly what happened. So it was kind of a hedge play, and it worked out pretty much in accordance with what we thought it would do. So MVRV is not. It's basically not overbought or oversold, but we are much closer to being oversold than we are overbought. Again, indicating that prices are cheap right now and the market is still kind of stagnant because retail has not FOMOed in yet. What does that mean? That means basically you're at the premium buying opportunity right now for crypto. So this is the Bitcoin rainbow chart. We are currently in the kind of limeish green color, which is the accumulate. Again, reiterating pretty much what I just said on that piece right there. Bitcoin net unrealized profit and loss. Pretty much sitting in the belief and denial phase. That makes sense because we're pretty much right before the halving. So we're roughly about a year away from pushing all-time highs on Bitcoin. So this lines up perfectly. Again, the ideal time to sell is when you see this thing get into euphoria and greed, and that is in confluence with other indicators. So one more thing we're going to look at here is the Bitcoin high cycle top indicator by Bulgarian candle here. So we pull that up. Why does this matter? For those of you guys that have followed us for a long time, you can see very clearly that it pretty much predicts almost every single cycle top perfectly to the T. Okay. So you can see here on this green candle right here, kind of got to really zoom in to see this. Zoom in a little bit more. So you see it's pointing towards this green candle right here. Well, that was literally exactly the top for 2017. Okay. And this red candle right here, which pretty much in confluence with this green candle wick here, was exactly the top in the May top. Now we had a November peak as well, so there is that. It didn't pop up. That's fine. If you had if you had bought Bitcoin down here at $3,000 to $5,000 and you sold up here on the Bitcoin Pi cycle top at 60,000, you made a 12x and you didn't buy anything else. Let's say you had half a Bitcoin. You did pretty good. Not bad. So we're keeping an eye out to see if this is going to pop up. It has not popped up. I suspect that it will not pop up until we get past the halving. Again, this move here, while it has been fantastic, it's been an incredible move, especially for basically a pre-halving and a halving year run-up. It's far from being parabolic in my opinion, so we're not going to see that until we see true parabola. And I will point out to you guys when I think that's going to happen at the time that it does, and we will also continue to basically follow whether a Pi cycle indicator top shows up or not. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.